Good day, dear viewers, and welcome to our latest Lang Connect podcast episode. How's it going for you in Lina, and what's in your mind lately?
Oh, I'm feeling great today. Thank you for asking. I hope you are too. What's in my mind lately? One word, romance.
That explains why you are in a good mood, eh? In all seriousness, that's actually relevant to our podcast topic today. It is about love, coming in hot with the most human feeling ever. So we will be discussing about queer love extensively. So let's start with a simple question, shall we? Nina, what does love mean to you, regardless of gender?
To be honest, I believe love is a universal feeling. It's about caring for someone deeply and supporting them, regardless of their gender. Whether it's the same-sex couple or straight couple, the core emotions like loyalty and kindness are exactly the same. Now, how about you, Steve? When did you first become aware of same-sex relationships?
I think I first became aware of same-sex relationships when I was around 12 or 13, probably through anime or video games. I remember seeing a character come out, or couples of girls holding hands, and it just felt normal to me. Later, when I had friends, some male and some female, who were openly gay in high school, it became even more real and personal. It was never a big shock. It would just seem like another way people can love each other, you know. The experience left me a bit curious about this question though. Do people think love between two people of the same gender is different from heterosexual love? Do you think so?
In my opinion, the feeling of love is the same. However, the social experience can be different. Same-sex couples might face more challenges from society or their own families, while heterosexual couples are usually accepted immediately without question. It's acknowledged that being queer is quite scandalous in many places, but not all. They are accepted somewhere, I'm sure of it. It makes me wonder, how has society's attitude towards same-sex love changed in recent years?
It's changed a lot, and mostly for the better, I think. More and more people are open and supportive now. You see same-sex couples getting married, holding hands in public, and being celebrated in the media. Pride events are huge, and full of families and straight allies too. There's still a long way to go in some places, but overall, society has become much more accepting, kind, or at least tolerant. It's noticeable that young folks chill with queer individuals more too. Do you think younger generations are more accepting of same-sex relationships?
Definitely, younger people are more accepting because they grow up in a diverse environment. They see different types of relationships on the internet and in movies, so they feel it's a normal part of life, not something strange. I think there's more to be discussed about this, like what factors influence people's acceptance or rejections of same-sex love. What's your take?
I think it comes down to upbringing, religion, culture, and personal experiences. If someone grows up in a very traditional or religious family, they might have been taught that it's wrong. But if they meet kind and happy same-sex couples or have friends who are part of the community, they often change their views. Their education and exposure to different people really make a big difference. I know this is controversial and political, but I do acknowledge that many parts of the media recently are pushing queerphobic sentiments. So that's also a factor pushing people away from the marginalized. Still, some people do just tolerate queer folks, not just accept them. It's tolerance the same as true acceptance? What do you think, Nina?
In my opinion, tolerance and true acceptance are totally different concepts. Tolerance is just putting up with someone's stories without complaining even if you don't really agree with them. However, true acceptance means you fully support and respect their identity as being equal to your own. Therefore, while tolerance is a good first step, I believe a society needs true acceptance to be genuinely inclusive. But conservative families tend to have none of tolerance and acceptance. Why does this happen? Why do some families struggle to accept same-sex relationships of their own kids?
It's usually because of fear, I think. Fear of what others will think, fear of religious teachings, or fear of that their kids will face discrimination, and fear of having no one to continue the bloodline. Some parents worry about having no grandchildren, or they feel like they failed their own son or daughter in some ways. It's often not about hating their own child, it's about their own confusion or outdated beliefs. With time, love, and open conversations, many families do come around. Since this whole thing is tied to conservatism, let's inspect it properly. Do cultural tradition affect attitudes toward queer love?
Cultural traditions have a huge impact on how people view same-sex love because they shape our values from a young age. In many cultures, tradition focuses on the traditional family structure, which can make it hard for people to accept different kinds of relationships. For example, some societies believe that marriage is strictly for having children to continue the family life. Consequently, same-sex love is often seen as a challenge to these old customs, rather than just a personal choice. Now, let's dial up the progressive vibe so families prioritize happiness over social expectations. Steve?
Oh, absolutely, yes. At the end of the day, what matters most is that your child is happy, healthy, and loved. Social expectations change over time, but a parent's love should never change. If a child is in a loving, supporting relationship, that should be celebrated, not judged, right? What kind of parents would oppose that? We progressed this far by overthrowing feudalism, criticizing imperialism, decking fascism, yet accepting the gays is a step too far and too progressive somehow. I guess some things will stay the same no matter the era, that is homophobia. Oh, I'm sorry for the rant. Now, Nina, what emotional challenges do same-sex couples often face?
I believe same-sex couples often face emotional challenges like anxiety or stress due to social pressure. For instance, many people feel worried about being judged or rejected by their family and friends when they share their true identity. Additionally, they may feel lonely or isolated if they live in a community that does not support their relationship. Overall, these external pressures can put a lot of strain on their mental health compared to heterosexual couples. Instead, honestly, and queer communities clearly need more support. A way of support is depicting them in media and art. Steve, how important is media representation for normalizing same-sex love?
Is incredibly important in my opinion. When you see happy, loving same-sex couples on TV, in movies or in arts, it helps people understand that it's just a normal part of life. It reduces fears and stereotypes and makes younger people feel seen and accepted. Good representation really changes hearts and minds. You seem to be a person who watches a lot of films and shows, Nina. Do films and TV shows portray same-sex relationships realistically by your standard?
In my opinion, the way the media portrays same-sex love is improving, but it's not always realistic. In the past, many movies focused only on the struggles or sad endings of these couples, which created a narrow, stereotypical view. Nowadays, we see more diverse stories where same-sex characters have normalized and successful careers, just like anyone else. However, some shows still use stereotypes for entertainment, so there is still a long way to go for true representation. There's a way to normalize the topic of queer love effectively, though that is through education. So schools include discussions about same-sex love and relationships, Steve?
Yes, I think they should. Schools are supposed to prepare kids for the real world, and the real world includes all kinds of love, worldviews, and families. Talking about it openly helps reduce bullying, makes LGBTQ+ students feel safe and included, and teaches everyone to be kind and respectful. But on the flip side, I'm quite skeptical. I think this might be hit or miss most of the time because people with prejudices are hard to educate. Any idea, Nina? Can education really reduce prejudice against queer communities?
I strongly believe that education plays a crucial role in reducing prejudice against the queer community. By providing students with accurate information, schools can have clear up misunderstandings that often lead to fear of hate. When young people learn to respect diversity at an early age, they are much more likely to be kind and empathetic toward others. Education is the most effective way to build a more tolerant and inclusive society for everyone. Education aside, let's talk legality because this is a bit more complicated. Here's the nook. Should same-sex couples have the same legal rights as heterosexual couples?
Yes, 100%. Marriage, adoption, inheritance, healthcare decisions always should be equal. Queer people are people, and their love is as valid and human as heterosexual couples. Therefore, the law should protect every loving couple the same way. Anything less is just unfair. I rest my case. But do you think laws alone are enough to ensure equality?
Personally, I don't think laws alone are enough to ensure equality because they can only change behaviors, not mindsets. While a law can prevent discrimination in the workplace, it cannot force people to be truly respectful or kind in their private lives. Real equality also requires social change, such as better education and positive media representation to reduce deep-rooted prejudices. Therefore, laws are necessary foundation, but they must go hand in hand with a change in public attitude, and governments serve the public in the most efficiently. But and rely on this, Steve, what role should governments play in protecting same-sex couples?
Governments should make sure that they are strong in anti-discrimination laws like they have for the disabled, protect same-sex marriage and adoption rights, and punish hate crimes. They should also support education and public campaigns that promote equality. Basically, create an environment where everyone feels safe and valued. But until then, the future is looking uncertain and scary for the minorities. Speaking of the future, how do you think attitudes towards same-sex love will change in the future?
In the future,
I believe that attitudes towards same-sex love will become much more positive and accepting worldwide. As global communication increases, people will have more chances to hear diverse stories, which has to break down all barriers and fears. We will likely see more countries passing laws to protect equal rights, making these relationships a normal part of every society. Eventually, I hope that a person's sexual orientation, hope that a person's will no longer be a topic of debate, but simply a private part of their identity. At least that's my vision. What about you? What does a truly inclusive society look like to you?
It's hard to imagine as the global political climate shifted right lately, but I'll give it a shot. A truly inclusive society is one where everyone, no matter their gender, sexual orientation, or background, can love who they love, marry who they want, as long as they are adults and consent for one another, and be themselves without fear. It's a place where families support each other, schools teach respect, laws protect everyone equally, and everyone celebrate differences instead of judging them. Quite an utopia, right? But it's worth dreaming of. So that's it for our podcast session today. Thank you for listening, audiences. And please love beautifully, responsibly, and passionately, no matter the gender of who you love. It's a beautiful thing, and there always will be people supporting you.
That's right. And again, thank you for listening. See you next time on Connect.
See you!